So Brookfield, one of the biggest energy players in the country, just signed a 30-year agreement to sell clean power directly to the United States. If you're American, that's awesome. If you're Canadian, well, whatever word you want to use, you see, Washington is calling it a victory for energy independence. But for Canadians, it feels like a betrayal, a slap in the face. Again, whatever word choice you want to use. But the point is, it's Canadian power, Canadian resources, Canadian potential future, all being shipped south for cheap, and you're stuck paying more at home. So let's talk about what's really going on here. And residents on the Sunshine Coast say they are again sending all the power from a local dam to the U.S. for 30 years. Powell River Energy has applied to Canada's energy regulator to approve that deal, and our Maria Seidler has been following this story. So, Marie, what do we know about this application? So, as you mentioned, the application was submitted by Powell River Energy, Inc., and this is the company that operates the dam that powered the local mill in Powell River from 1910 until 2021. And that's when the mill shut down. Now, since then, the company has been exporting all of its power to the U.S. because, there is no mill. It has to go somewhere. And now that company is applying for a 30-year license. As you mentioned, Canadians are being robbed in broad daylight. And it's happening with the government's full permission. The news from Powell River is the latest proof that Mark Carney has no control over anything. Nothing, truly. Trump just shows up and says, hey, so can he have this, and this, and they're like, okay, yes, sir. It's a whole lot of no winning, because this, guys, it's a local dam built, maintained, and powered by Canadian workers for over a century, and now it's being locked into a 30-year deal to send power straight to the United States. 30 years. Gosh, I am going to be more of a fossil than holy smokes. That's a long time. Let that sink in. That's an entire generation of Canadians who will never see a single watt of the energy benefit their own communities. The company behind it, Powell River Energy Incorporated, has filed for a 30-year export license, and once that license is approved, that's it. The power's gone until 2055. No kickbacks, no renegotiations, no safety valve, no protection for local businesses or future generations. Meanwhile, the people of Powell River are the ones left standing in the dark, literally, fighting to attract new industries to the old mill site that wants to find their own town. The hypocrisy is like Ottawa keeps preaching about green energy and sustainability, yet they're allowing one of British Columbia's most valuable clean power sources to be sold off to a foreign buyer. This isn't about sustainability. It's selling out. If you live in Canada and you live near there, that's like, what the frick? How is that, okay? It's about big corporations cashing in. while ordinary Canadians get squeezed with higher prices and fewer options. And even then, I am upset on your behalf. But you also get it from the company's point of view. It's like you guys have not made it a viable option to do business. We're in the business of making money and growing our, growing our company. If you don't grow, you die type of mentality. And that's very true. But Canada, your government has not exactly made it easy for us to stick around. Now, if you made more incentives, then okay, cool. Not even that. Congress. Oh, Green New Deal. There are all these incentives for that. But it's like you haven't made it good enough. Down in America, they're like, okay, yep, things are good there. We're going to go there. We're going to send business there. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. This is an issue for a lot of people in Powder River because they're actually trying to attract new business and new industry to that old mill site. The Tla'amin First Nation and the Cranberry Business Group have taken over that site. And a big attraction for companies would be all the power that is available there. Now, there is a local residents group called Energy Democracy for BC. Elian Gould is the president of that group. It is what she had to say. How do we know over a 30-year time span whether or not we're going to need that power? And this locks it in for 30 years. There's no wiggle room here. The company will have the right to export till 2055. So, yeah, it's pretty devastating. You know what's even worse? The people trying to stop the deal. Local residents, First Nations, small business groups are the ones being ignored. They've been pleading with regulators, asking a very simple question. How can we know we won't need this power ourselves in the next 30 years? It's a very simple question. It's a very fair question. Heard them. Like, that makes sense to me. Because the truth is, nobody knows truly, if I want to be super exact, you don't know. They don't know. You don't know. No one truly knows. No one can fully predict with 100% accuracy what Canada's energy needs will be in 2055. Who knows? You guys might suddenly have this moment of whoops. Why did you come to this choice? And suddenly you're doing coal at record levels and you become the masters at filtering out the impurities and doing coal better than everybody else. And then suddenly there's a coal wave. Who knows? But what we do know is that once this power is gone, it's gone for good, in the more immediate sense of what's going to happen. Mark Carney's government is sleepwalking through another disaster. And like every time there's a chance to defend Canadian interests, they just fold. They did it with the auto industry. They did it with natural gas, oil. They did it with what? Canola. They did it with crude. They're doing it with electricity. Now it's a not good pattern or a big pattern of weakness. You have a government that acts tough in press conferences, but bends the knee the moment Washington snaps its fingers, like he saw, wasn't it the other day? They were like, Carney was in, oh, shoot, where was he? It was with all the other world leaders. And he walks over to President Trump. It's like, oh, thanks for, upgrading me to president. Like, he made some sort of comment. It's like, hey, at least he didn't call you governor. Okay? So it's like they're playing nice and joking around. Okay? Cool. But it's like, what? You're like, it's weird, like, you really don't have a strong track record. So imagine a lot of these world leaders are looking at Carney going like, okay, as the prime minister, respect that office. But, inwardly, they're probably not thinking the greatest of him because he hasn't really done all that much. It's just weird. Weird. Got a leader playing nice and acting all buddy-buddy with Trump, and yet has giving in every time. So am I the only one that thinks this? Amen. Say what you want about Trump, but he's fighting for American energy independence. Es unapologetic. He doesn't care. When he signed the Gaza, Hamas, Israel, all that peace deal, signed Sealed. It's all done. He was only talking to, like, some billionaire who's a dual citizen. He says, so do you like America or Israel more? And, like, nothing. It doesn't care. It just puts it out there. It's fine with bad optics. It's Trump is pushing for policies that made sure American resources are staying in American hands, is fighting tooth and nail for American workers. It's what he does. It's what a president does. It's honestly, he would say, it's showing the world what a president can do. If you have the political will to do it, and that's why the U.S. is celebrating this deal, because it locks in cheap, clean power for decades. Trump doesn't have to think about it for a bit. Trump built an economy. Building an economy that is putting his people first. Canada, under Carney's watch, is doing the exact opposite, exporting its future, calling it progress. Even British Columbia's own energy minister is scrambling, like BC Hydro is now trying to get access to the same power for local use, invoking fair market rules, but it's too little, too late. Your own government agencies have to pay for access to your own power. The system's broken. That's the problem when that happens. It's not just bad policy. What an embarrassment, okay? It's definitely a concern from people from the region there. But what happens from now? So, originally, the deadline to give feedback to Canada's energy regulator was tomorrow. The claiming First Nation applied to extend that deadline by 2 weeks, and they just found out yesterday that that application was granted. So now the deadline to give feedback is October 4, and there is a pretty good chance that feedback could influence the regulator's decision. The company has applied before for a 10-year license, which was unsuccessful, and so now there is a chance that that decision could be changed. He also just want to clarify, Edith Herbeck from BC Energy Ministry. And they said that BC Hydro is also trying to gain access to that power for local purposes under the fair market access rules from the regulator. Now, it's not just about energy, it's about sovereignty. Every megawatt that leaves Canada's borders weakens Canada's ability to control its own economy. The Americans understand that perfectly. They'll take every ounce of leverage they can, and they'll say, thank you. Why wouldn't they? Canada just keeps handing over its assets. The U.S. doesn't even have to fight for it now. They're used like, cool. Oh, please do other things. This whole deal reeks of corporate greed. Or is it really corporate greed? Yeah, it would say to a degree, corporate greed, but also just reality. They know they can get a better deal and have more stability down in America. So they take it, so you get it. If there are real numbers, real money. That is the reality of things. I just wish you guys in Canada had a leadership that was willing to fight and incentivize these companies to stay. That would be amazing. Like, Brookfield and Powell River Energy are going to make millions exporting clean power to the States while communities at home are told to, well, you better just suck it in a little more and just hold on tight and just hope you can survive. It's not a good feeling to know. Like, okay, I am just going to hold my breath. I am just going to suck everything in. We're just going to hold tight. Hold it. Hold it. Hopefully, you can get through the mess that is Carney's economy. Carney loves to talk about global cooperation. What is it doing? It's auctioning off Canada's resources to the highest bidder. They've turned the country into a supplier for America's convenience. That's not a partner or a competitor, just a supplier. Suppliers never say no. I am not going to give you anything. They'll say, yes, okay, thank you. Who's paying the price? Working-class Canadians, families in BC who will see their hydro bills rise while their own locally generated energy goes south. Towns like Powell River, desperate for new industries, will have no power left to attract them. And every small manufacturer trying to stay afloat will be told the same thing. Sorry, power's already committed. Some will say it's a betrayal. Others will say, look, the pasture's greener in America. It sucks. That's the reality of it. You don't know. You let me know what you think down in the comments below. Guys, you see, it really does hurt though, because you have taxpayers. You know, the Canadian taxpayer who believes the country should come first, you think your country should come first. You should take care of your own people. And this is the cost. This is the cost of letting globalism, socialism, comunal, all the isms. It's not good. It doesn't work. Socialism never works. Always leads into communism. And it's never worked throughout history. Globalism is bad. It's bad. So what happens when you let bureaucrats like Mark Carney and corporate giants like Brookfield run the show? I am not saying Brookfield is clean, but he also recognizes if you're a business owner and things are better elsewhere. You're probably going to go there because you're in the world of making a profit, not in the world of just suffering unnecessarily. But I would maybe be the very tippy top of the leadership there in Brookfield. They're probably not thinking in terms of communities. They're thinking in quarterly profits and long-term contracts. Tim Hodgson is the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, and he joins me now. Minister, it's good to see you again. Thank you for being here. Sir, good to be here. I want to start, if I can, with what appears to be a bit of a collision between some of the climate policies of the government and the industrial ambitions of the government. We've seen the EV mandate go away, or at least temporarily, and now we are seeing reports about the emissions cap maybe being something you don't implement after the consultations are done to allow for some oil development, maybe a pipeline. Is that the option that's on the table here? So what we agree on right now, the federal government, the Alberta government, and industry, is that to move forward with the oil industry, we need to show Canadians that we're doing the very best we can to produce the cleanest product we can. We have agreement that the ultimate goal is net zero. We have agreement that the big ambition here is to do something that no other country has done, which is systematically reduce the carbon footprint. So it is what's happening. Mark Carney's government is trying to play both sides and getting crushed. Is talking about, what was it, net zero stuff, and then has just walking back every climate rule the moment the industry pushes back. The EV mandate, oh, pause that, the emissions cap, oh, boy, we're gonna just be flexible now. That's not leadership, that's panic. That's like, please don't leave. How about you just make your country economically viable and appealing? How about you do that? Canada wants to sound like, we are the leaders of green energy and things are great. Global, applause for me. Carney, because he have the cleanest of countries. Oh, well, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz scenario. It's like, oh, look at this, and then don't look behind the curtain, because guess what? Oil money is flowing to patch up his collapsing economy. You see, now I am all for clean energy. Be clean, but be realistic, okay? Create the technologies that work, and also try to even the process of making the technology clean. All of that's expensive. It takes time. So just use the oil that you have under your feet. Guys, just use it, okay? And eventually go for it again. But not like this. Trump understands energy. Energy is power. You build it, you own it, you use it for your people. That's what you're doing. Carney treats it like a political chess piece, while Alberta and industries are fighting to build. Ottawa's hiding behind buzzwords and empty targets. You can't lead a resource-rich nation like Canada with this level of confusion. Canada doesn't need net zero dreams. It needs energy independence. I've said this so many times. It's something that Trump mastered, and he gets. Carney either still can't comprehend it, or it doesn't care, like This tweet sums up perfectly where we are. Here we go. So here is the tweet. It says, we pay hundreds of billions of dollars to Subsidize Canada. Why? There is no reason. We don't need anything they have. We have unlimited energy, should make our own cars, and have more lumber than we can ever use. Without this massive subsidy, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country. So check out this tweet. Sums it up perfectly. All right? Let me find it. Okay, here we go. It says, we pay hundreds of billions of dollars to Subsidize Canada. Why? There is no reason. We don't need anything they have. We have unlimited energy, should make our own cars, and have more lumber than we can ever use. Without this massive subsidy, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country. Harsh, but true. Therefore, Canada should become our cherished 51st state. Much lower taxes and far better military protection for the people of Canada and no tariffs. Amen. It's not wrong. Canada's been riding American coattails for a long time, and people didn't care until Trump came along and really reminded people, and pointed out just the unfairness of it. And then people really started to care, at least on a nationwide scale, people who live more on the border. They absolutely are more what the fuck? This is not okay. But now he would say the rest of America's waking up now because of the messaging from Donald Trump, and they believe him because there's truth to it. It has been going on for decades, and without you. Es support. Carney's Canada collapses. It's painful, but it's the truth. Canada's being hollowed out from the inside as power is sold. Industries are gutted, and the future is being traded away by weak leadership. Only Brookfield is winning in America. Carney is smiling, but he can't believe it's like you're being all buddy-buddy with these leaders. And you feel okay, in a way, you have to, because you are the leader, it's your job to project strength or confidence or comfortability in those very public situations. But you don't know. You feel like I would want to do something different if I was leader. Typically, I have no interest. I like what I am doing here in terms of politics. You don't want to actually get really involved in that way. But you just want to see Canada do better. And if you were a leader, you'd want to do something different. You'd want to maybe stop showing up to all of these World Economic Forum meetings, all of these Davos things, all of this globalist Green Deal meeting, all that stuff. Just stop. Start taking care of the issues at home. Okay, be like Trump. Trump is fighting to keep America strong. Carney's selling Canada cheap, that's surrender, and Canada's running out of time to wake up. Of course, that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. That's all that I have for you today here at Zone Media Network. I am Griffin. your host. Feel free to head on over to American Zone for the latest American news, where you will see me there. And please do not forget to like, subscribe, and again, comment down below. I love you all, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.